is where the fun begins.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
This is Rebel Force Radio.
Your source for the Force.
Star Wars news and commentary.
With Jason Swank and Jimmy Mack.
I've seen Star Wars 500 times.
Star Wars #1!
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
Now it's time for Rebel Force Radio.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Oh, and we are honored indeed that you are here to join us for the beginning of a whole new season of Rebel Force Radio Clone Wars Declassified. We're taking a little bit of a different tact with this season in that we're not doing a episode by episode, play by play over the 12 new episodes of Season 7. Rather, we're going to look at these in 3 chunks, the 3 arcs. And we're starting off with the Bad Batch arc. And we will continue through the next 2 arcs as they're released. Though with current events being what they are, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if the folks over at Disney Plus and Lucasfilm decide to maybe drop these episodes early. That would be a nice little treat since we're all going to be, or many of us are quarantined in our homes as this virus seems to be on everybody's mind and everyone's, doing their best to play it safe. And so why not? Give us the whole season, Disney, Lucasfilm. We know you got it. We've got the time to watch it. So let's do it. But no, we're going to be talking about the first 4 episodes of Season 7. We're talking about The Bad Batch. We're talking about A Distant Echo, On the Wings of Caradax, and Unfinished Business. Also, if you're listening live, I invite you to give us a call, 708-866-1737. We want to hear from you. And that's the number to call if you're within the sound of my voice right now, 708-866-1737. If you have watched these episodes, even if you haven't watched the episodes, I don't care. Just don't be giving us a hard time about spoilers. You've been warned. We've watched the episodes multiple times now. And so we're going to give you a little bit of an analysis, and then we'll open up the lines for your calls. But to get in the queue, 708-866-1737. What are you drinking, iced tea? I'm not alone here, but I'm not with my usual good friend and yours. Unfortunately, Jimmy Mack has been called away with other assignments across the galaxy. But something tells me that if Jimmy Mack has it in his ability, he's going to be listening to see what kind of a job this guy does. And I'm talking about a very good friend of mine and a longtime friend of Rebel Force Radio, our pal. I consider him the best Star Wars artist working today. He's the grand poobah behind the Norse Legion and a great friend, Mr. Kevin Liell. How's that for an intro?
That was really nice. Thank you very much, except for the iced tea comment, which I'm not drinking.
You're not drinking? I heard, well, I did hear some clinking. But it's not iced tea.
No, it's not iced
tea. These times call for something a little stronger than iced tea. No,
yeah, a little whiskey and Coke.
There you go. All right. Well, cheers to you, my friend. Kevin, thanks for taking the time out. We planned these episodes weeks ago and had guests lined up. We weren't expecting Jimmy Mack to not be with us, but we were expecting you for this episode. And I think that these episodes, I think it's providence because you're a military man, former military man. Although, is it once you are military, are you always military? Is that how it goes? You always consider yourself?
I think it depends on the length of time you spent in. I only did 4 years when I was in my 20s. But as they say, once a soldier, always a soldier. You're not. There's no such thing as an ex-soldier, as they say. It's you're still a soldier.
Gotcha. Well, you're freezing up a little bit on me, so I'm hoping that you've got. If you got anybody in your house streaming Netflix or Disney Plus or something like that, give us some time. No. We want to make sure that you have full bandwidth. And actually, I think that we have our second guest. I think he found us. Where is he here? I believe he is. Let's see if we can bring him on here. There he. All right. We got a friend of Jimmy Max. I've never had the pleasure, but you know what? Star Wars is a great opportunity to meet new people. So we're going to welcome to the program. He's the Morning Drive sports anchor on News Radio 780 in Chicago, and a great big Star Wars fan from what I hear, Mr. Josh Liss, joining us. Hello, Josh.
Hi, guys. It's a real honor to be on with you. I'm a big fan of the show.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to break the fourth wall a bit here and see if I can go ahead and add you to there we go. Now they can see you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
We did that on the fly.
Cool.
Amazing how that is. See,
I get the logo up there and everything.
Oh, I know. Well,
me again.
Josh, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it very much.
Welcome. I'm a Star Wars fan just like you guys. You guys are the know-it-alls. You coached me up all summer long up to episode 9, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much, and I can't wait to jump into some of this Clone Wars stuff with you guys.
Wow, me too. And once again, to everybody listening, we are taking calls 708-866-1737, talking about the Bad Batch arc. Kevin, as we were saying, sorry, I got distracted by your freezing Skype there. The adage, once a soldier, always a soldier. And I think that's really appropriate for these episodes, especially when you look at Echo. You know, Echo was out of commission.
Oh, yeah, I would. When I saw each of the soldiers, Crosshair, Tech, Wrecker, and the rest, I served in a couple platoons that had guys just like that, where each platoon has a bunch of characters, and those guys kind of reminded me of it.
Yeah, well, right. I love these. I mean, I don't know that you could necessarily call them archetypes per se, because they're a little extreme. I'll tell you one of the things that I thought of, guys, when we met them. You know what I haven't done? Wait a minute. I'm interrupting myself, but don't worry. I always am able to keep my place. I haven't given you the tail of the tape. That's something that a lot of people listen to, because these shows, they are listened to well into the future. So we are talking about Clone Wars Season 7. This is the final season. And the episodes in particular are The Bad Batch, A Distant Echo, On the Wings of Kirdak's Unfinished Business. They all premiered at the end of February, early March 2020 on Disney+. And let's see who directed these. We got Kyle Dunleavy with Bad Batch, written by Brent Friedman and Matt Misknovitz. So these are well-known Clone Wars writers. They've written a number of episodes. A Distant Echo, we've got directed by Stuart Lee, written by Brent Friedman, Matt Misknovitz, as we said, and Dave Filoni jumping in on this one, on Distant Echo. And Wings of Kiradaks. Where are we? Wings of Kiradaks. Bosco Ng. Oh, he's one of my favorites just because of that name. Bosco Ng is the director, and written by the aforementioned Brent Friedman and Matt Misknovitz. I'm thinking that there's a theme here that these two guys wrote all these episodes, and then Unfinished Business also. If only Jimmy could be here to say it. Brian Ken O'Connell, one of our favorite directors from the Clone Wars, and also written by Matt Misknovitz and Brent Friedman. So there you go, the tail of the tape. These 4 episodes, we're calling them the Bad Batch arc, and that's how we're going to refer to them all here. We will probably not make distinctions and say, oh, yes, in the second episode of this arc, I really appreciate it. No, it's all part of the same story. So that's the way we're going to treat it. So let's get into it, guys. Lots to talk about. If you're a fan of clones, you're going to love these. You're going to love this arc, because right away we're dropped in the midst of a crisis. We have a Republic shipyard under attack. And the Republic, Kevin, keeps losing. They can't seem to figure out why it is that the Separatists are always a step or two ahead of them. And it turns out, now, Rex has a crazy theory as to how this is happening. But what they do know outside of that crazy theory is that there is an algorithm. And I thought this was fascinating. Of course, we're dealing with a droid army. So the droids are using analytics and somehow enabling to predict predict the moves of and the strategy of the Army of the Republic. Is there any real world? I'm just curious, as a soldier, do you know if there's any real world comparisons to something like this? Do you think, one of the hot topics in business is business analytics, the data that your customers and your sales can show you. But are those kinds of numbers, and you also see it in sports, are those kind of numbers used in such a way in battle and in military strategy?
I wouldn't say in the sense that it was in this arc, because eventually we find out what the analytic is, and it's that somebody who worked very closely with Captain Rex is working with the Separatists. But in the real world, Patton was known to read papers written by Rommel, during the African campaign in the early years of World War II. So things like that do happen, where you try to get into the mind of your enemy and
literally in this case, right? In this case,
and in this case, literally
plugging in.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So, Josh, since you're new to the program, not as a listener but as a guest, tell us a little bit about where Clone Wars Season 7 finds you. It's been how many years now? Almost 10 years since it went off the air, right? Pretty close to it.
Back
7
with
years?
that off Netflix Season 6, and now here with Season 7. I grew up, I shouldn't say I grew up, but with my kids around. They were little when this all started, and here we are back again. They're teenagers in high school, and we get to have fun again with Clone Wars. And I thought it was hilarious just to match sort of the start of the conversation, the entry to the series, up to Clone Force 99 getting introduced, as the Bad Batch, that they dropped us right back into the same familiar action. There's Rex, there's Cody, and all of a sudden, you got Mace Windu, you got Anakin. They're all dropped in. The battle's flying, and all of a sudden they're talking about analytics. I thought that was hilarious. They're going to use their data against us. I thought I was watching a Frontline episode on Jeff Bezos or something about the data used against us. But it was great. It dropped us right back into the action. I thought that was a winning move to return us to what we knew. It reestablished the tone and the focus, and I think the purpose of the Clone Wars, which is a key trilogies.
We just sorry about that, Josh. We just lost. Can you repeat that last line for me? Key,
trilogy of trilogies is what is the Clone Wars. They didn't mess around. Put us right back in the action.
Gotcha. Yep. So, Kevin, one of the things that I sort of struggled with a little bit here was, with the hot off the heels of the sequel trilogy, where we've been dealing with big, important issues, things like the return of Palpatine, the Chosen One, who really is the Chosen One in the wake of the sequel trilogy, new Force powers that we've been exposed to through characters like Rey, big topics. And now, even though the Clone Wars is vast and expansive, we're sort of brought back to the nitty gritty of this particular era. Was it difficult for you that to kind of focus in a particular focus in so specifically, as opposed to where our heads as Star Wars fans have been for the last 5 years?
Well, as you know, I'm not a very big fan of the sequel trilogy.
Okay.
Actually, I don't like the sequel trilogy.
Uh-huh.
The thing is that I felt that this story arc, and I'm not just saying this to be nice to Dave Filoni and crew, but when the Bad Batch walked off that shuttle in the beginning of the episode, I got a chill down my spine. I got more emotion from that than I did from the three sequel movies. I just thought that was just a great scene. I like seeing, because we've heard about them for so many years, to actually finally see them.
Well, what was it? Well, what was it about them coming off of the their debut? What was it? Because you said off air that it gave you chills.
It's because I had heard about the Bad Batch for so long, and I'd heard, Dave Filoni had talked about them, and they wanted to incorporate them many times in the past, were unable to do so. Then, of course, there was the animatics that they released 3 or 4 years ago.
Yep.
And so we got to see a little bit of them then, but just to see them actually fleshed out for real. When I say fleshed out, you know what I mean?
Yes.
To actually see them really out there doing their thing, I thought was really cool. And the fact that their actual name is Clone Force 99, I thought that was pretty cool.
Named after the fallen sort of, I guess, the prototype.
The original Bad Batch.
Yeah, the original Bad Batch, the prototype Bad Batch. And let's talk about these guys a little bit. All 4 very distinct characters. Though, I don't know, Josh, I was getting I couldn't tell if Sergeant Hunter was giving me more of a Rambo vibe or a Charlie Sheen from Hot Shots. Somewhere in between.
Well, when the ship crashes and Cody's trapped and Wrecker just goes with one hand and lifts the ship off of him, he gets that 80s sort of superhero movie explosion behind him, which I thought was a hilarious sort of scene. And it sort of starts us off with getting to know Wrecker and his one-liners.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we have Hunter, we have Wrecker, who is clearly the muscle. We have Tech. We have Crosshair. I have to say,
a conversationalist.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I have to say, guys, I'm a huge fan of the original Predator movie from 1987, and there's the moment when they're all in the ship and they're heading to Anaxis. I felt like that sequence towards the beginning of Predator when they're all in the helicopter. I mean, the lighting, that red lighting is still going on, and they're all kind of busting each other's chops a little bit. That was where I really like, because those little interactions show you a lot about these characters. You can build familiarity with these characters very, very quickly.
Despite see the Bad Batch in action for the first time with their coordinated moves and all thing, that was well revealed, I thought, also.
Yeah. Just a reminder, we got quite a few people listening live. We are taking call 708-866-1737. That's the number to call, and we'll be bringing you on through the switchboard to chat with all of us as we continue to talk about the Bad Batch. We got a number of callers already in the queue, but continuing to set the table about this arc. So we know about the analytics. Droids are using these analytics. It really makes it incumbent upon the Republic forces to vary their techniques and their strategies, but even this variation doesn't seem to be working. And as they point out, Rex is the best, and the droids still seem to be learning. So they hatch an operation to sort of go behind enemy lines and find out what's going on with this. What do they call it? It's the thing that they find where they're looking for the algorithm, but they need to go to the.
Well, this is where Trench has already been revealed. It's sort of behind
the transmitter.
Yes. Thank you, Kevin. That's what I was looking for. The transmitter.
Oh, into the Cyber Center.
Cyber Center. That's it. Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Didn't I used to buy like CDs and DVDs back there? Cyber Center. I think they went out of business. But so they need to go to the Cyber Center because it's relaying this info.
And they were on speeder bikes around that time too. It was a great sort of first interaction with that was the first sort of set of droids we saw, the first sort of interaction outside that opening sequence. So that was fun. Hey, you're not authorized.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of course, Matt Wood back to his battle droid tomfoolery there. So they find. They're looking for this algorithm, and what they end up finding is not a computer algorithm, rather a live signal coming from Skekkel Minor, and the handle CT1409 is revealed, and so his suspicions are confirmed that no, it is not a computer algorithm. It's actually Echo, who died supposedly back in season 3 as part of the Citadel arc, and his death has seemed to have been haunting Rex for all of these years.
Fresh on the Citadel, I remember an episode. It was a prison, right?
Yes. Yeah, I didn't actually have a chance to go back and rewatch
those. It's where they rescued Tarkin.
Okay, so that's where Tarkin and Anakin.
Tarkin made his debut in that arc, in that Citadel arc, on the Clone Wars back in season 3.
Okay. So we're on the same page.
Well, that was exciting.
What's that? When Tarkin showed up?
Oh, I jumped up in the air. I was so happy to see him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, anytime
Tarkin since 1977.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's right. That was that
plug with Anakin there.
Right. That was before Rogue One. So the algorithm turns out to actually be the voice, literally the voice of Echo CT 1409. Guys, there was something that I thought was pretty telling. I love these character moments. And I don't know how Kevin, I know you have a special someone in your life as well as me. I don't know about you, Josh, but I don't know how they would really take to being called the Thing. Did you notice how Anakin kept referring to Padme as, that thing I got to take care of?
I don't know if that stood out so much to me, other than they definitely, out loud admitted, "I love you, I love you."
Well, yes, no, I'm joking, of course. I'm saying that he referred to. I'm just saying that
the thing is not Padme. The thing is the conversation with Padme.
All right, fine, fair enough.
I was hoping it was Ahsoka.
But you were hoping it was Ahsoka?
Yeah, that's what I was hoping.
Well, he wouldn't be so secretive about. Well, he might be secretive talking about Ahsoka, but no. So we see the episode 3 model
of the Jedi Order, and we know she's coming back.
Well, that's true, but not for another arc or two.
Yeah.
But the Thing does turn out to be a conversation he has with Padme. But what this does reveal is that Rex is aiding and abetting. He is complicit in the cover-up of Anakin's relationship with Padme. It also reveals why they call him Obi-Wan Kenobi, because he knows. He be knowing.
I hope he told Padme I said hello.
Yeah. So that was a little missile shot over there, which I am glad, because these episodes are leading us quite closely to episode 3. So to start to see even just a little bit of fracturing of that relationship, I think is important. But
Agreed.
I was more surprised that Rex knew rather than
Can I ask
Padme.
a question?
No, I ask all the questions.
Okay, never mind.
No, ask a question, please, because then we're gonna take some calls.
I was in Chicago with Jimmy a couple weeks ago, and we talked about this season 7. He thinks it's going to go into the actual events of the movies. Do you think it's going to go that far?
We know it's going that far.
66?
Yeah, we know it's going that
far.
Yeah, because they actually have revealed scenes for our future episodes we're going to see that are sort of other side of the camera of events that we know are happening during the film, during the sequence of events of episode 3. Yeah, during Revenge of the Sith. So this will take us firmly into the film, which I've been hoping for since the beginning of Clone Wars. I thought we might get a whole season of not just going into episode 3, but maybe even a few months after episode 3. I'd have loved to have seen some Vader and some early Vader Palpatine stuff.
I've always had a theory about this. If you can indulge me for just a second.
Of course.
It's called the Clone Wars, plural, because there's 2 Clone Wars. There's 2 separate ones. There's the one with the clones against the droids and the Separatists, and there's one where the clones are against the Jedi. So that's why it's called the Clone Wars, because they have 2 separate wars. It's not like World War II, which started and ended, and that's it. Do you follow what I'm saying?
I do follow what you're saying. It's pretty fascinating.
Why is it called the Clone Wars? Why isn't it called the Clone War? We don't call it the Civil Wars.
Well, right, but Yoda does say in episode 3 in episode 2, at the end of episode 2, begun, the Clone War has. There was a little bit of retconning going on there.
Right, he says, but your at theory, that time, there's only one Clone War.
Right, but your theory, okay, what you're saying is War number 1 is the clones versus the Separatist army. War number 2 is the clones versus the Jedi.
Right. So you're looking at 23 years before the Battle of Yavin. Yoda calls it the Clone War, and then a couple of days before the Battle of Yavin, Luke refers to it as the Clone Wars.
Right.
My father didn't fight in the Clone Wars, meaning that there was more than one of them. Just a theory I have.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. I like that. I don't know if there's any canonical confirmation of that. Josh, what are you saying?
I was just going to say it was first mentioned, obviously, in Episode 4, the first movie, when Luke asked, Ben Kenobi, I don't know if he knew it was Obi-Wan. You fought with. He asked him, "You fought with my father in the Clone Wars." That's when it was first revealed. I've always come to understand it, as curious as I've been, and as much as the series has paid it off. To that curiosity from that child as to now as a middle-aged man, that it's just a series of wars. But I also understand how the there was the tipping point in the middle, that the point that you're making, that certainly makes sense also, and I would include those two among the series of wars. So I think we're all on the same page there.
Yeah, I actually really like what Kevin is saying, though, because it's always bothered me a little bit. I know that canonically where they've gotten away with this is that they considered these the big war, right? And then there were little wars being fought throughout the galaxy in various systems. So exactly what you're saying, Josh. I think that's technically the canonical way to describe Clone Wars versus Clone War. But Kevin's theory is pretty interesting. I'm digging
those structural inhibitor chips get revealed during Clone Wars episodes, and that's surely what leads up to Order 66. And I think that's sort of the hot sort of moment behind the curtain to these first 4 episodes.
Totally. We're seeing some things in the chat, and thank you, by the way, for everybody that's listening live. I can just confirm that Jimmy's absence has nothing to do with the virus or anything like that. So we just want to put people's minds at ease. A lot of people saying, "Hope you're okay, Jimmy Mack, wherever you are." It actually has nothing to do with that. So thank goodness.
Yeah, he was arrested last night, and that's why he's not here.
I could confirm that's
start any rumors.
While that is a distinct possibility, I could confirm that that's not true in this case. But right. You never know. He might have been dancing on tables last night.
But thank you for my last appearance on Rebel Force Radio.
All right, let's open up the calls here. We've got our buddy Eric from Phoenix. He never disappoints. He's always one of the first ones out of the gate. Still lots more to talk about here. Clone Wars Season 7, the Bad Batch arc, and these 4 episodes. But go ahead and lay it on us, Eric. Hello.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call, Jason.
Of course.
Yeah, first thing, I just got to say a huge thank you to Kevin for buying me a blue milk at a Lulu. My wife and I appreciated it. We had a great time hanging out with you and Jason and Jimmy in Chicago. So I might still not be able to have a blue milk. I don't know if I'm over that yet, but appreciate you doing that. So thank you.
Hey, Kevin,
You're welcome, man. Thank you very much.
He bought quite a few of those. I think did you buy the whole room blue milks that night?
I bought 19 of them.
But Eric's from Phoenix, his was the best for sure, right?
Oh, of course, yeah. That was the one I meant to buy. I had to buy everybody one, but Eric wanted one.
So, Eric, what'd you think about Bad Batch arc?
You know what? I had a lot of fun. I thought the episodes were really, really good, and I hadn't went back and watched a whole lot of the Clone Wars episodes before this started back up. And once it started, I realized how much I missed it. It's such a well-done series, and you can really see it, with these 4 episodes. Just the artwork, there's always something going on behind the scenes or in the shots. There's so much going on. And then just the story. I mean, I really like the story, the arc the characters had. And the Bad Batch, they're very unique, which is pretty cool when you think about clones who are supposed to be very similar. Just the characteristics they all brought out.
Isn't that interesting? I just want to say, isn't that interesting, this whole idea of the Bad Batch? And, not to invoke another franchise, but this idea of, we hear Jeff Goldblum say this, his character in Jurassic Park, about how nature finds a way. Even in the tight confines of cloning technology, nature is finding a way to fight back and create diversity, for lack of a better term, but some differences within the clones as they develop.
You describe them as experimental clones with desirable mutations.
Well, so they weren't. Maybe we can assume that they're not total accidents. They knew that they were trying to go in and manipulate certain things, but still, nature finds a way, and therefore you've got these variants. So sorry to interrupt, Eric, but that was a point I wanted to make.
Wasn't there a free-spirited clone in maybe season 1 or season 2 that drifted off and raised his own family as a farmer and explained it to Rex that duty was exploit?
That's right. There was one that did not drink the Kool-Aid.
Exhibiting free will, if you will.
Yes, exactly. It was more about free will.
And what about Fives?
Well, and Fives, of course, yes, right. Well, I'm not just saying that these guys are unique. We've seen it, but they're certainly they're rare, obviously. But I thought it was interesting how, despite the Republics and the Kaminoans' drive to create this sameness across the board, that they continue to, these surprises develop. Anyway, Eric, your point. Your daughter, you were saying, you watching that with her?
My daughter was born in 2006, so she never really watched this growing up. My boys grew up with the Clone Wars. That's their Star Wars. That was their entry really into Star Wars, and so it's been fun. She watched all the episodes from season 6 basically to get prepped for season 7. So it's been fun to sit down with her on Friday nights and watch them. And we've had a good time sharing that. But
that's what it's about, man. That's totally what it's about.
Yeah, there was 2 other things from the episodes that I thought of. The one that came out this week, there's that scene where Mace Windu's looking at all the droids coming at him. And it made me think of the original Clone Wars series, the Genndy Tartakovsky series, where he beats the crap out of all the clones with his bare hands. I don't know why, but I thought of that. I'm like, this could be really cool. And of course,
because he gives them the warning, right?
Which is good.
He gives them the warning.
He monologues.
I love how he does that. He's like, he introduces who he is.
Yeah.
Let's everyone know how much of a badass he is.
Yeah.
And then he offers them a chance to retreat, and they don't take it.
As wonderful as Phil Lamar is, wouldn't you have loved to have heard that little monologue given by Samuel L. Jackson in total Sam Jackson mode,
Yeah.
So you may be reprogrammed from spreading the mindless violence and chaos which you have inflicted upon the galaxy.
Yeah.
Have we heard that kind of peace offering ever before? He was pretty genuine.
Yeah, well, that reminded me just a little bit of this is your last chance, free us or die. And the odds look very, very much, against them, but I enjoyed that.
And of course the clone yells, "Blast them!"
Yeah, blast them. So Eric, the return of Clone Wars has left you satisfied?
Yep, very satisfied. It's been a lot of fun. Kind of disappointed that this will come to an end and we won't get any more because I think they've done a really nice job of relaunching it. It's been a lot of fun, and like you said, it'll be interesting to see, how they interact it with what happens with the original, episode 3 with the movie.
Yeah.
So it's been fun, and like it a lot. Can't wait to see what happens. And obviously I think there's another series called The Mandalorian, maybe.
I hope so.
That might be coming back this fall. But hey, one other thing I thought was funny. You know that cheesy line, Jason? They fly now.
Oh, dude! I have this written down. I have this in my notes.
Yeah. When those droids
in my notes, I have it written down and underlined.
When those droids
they fly now.
Thing, I had no idea they could fly, and I literally said out loud, "They fly now." And why didn't the guy? They should have thrown that in there. That would have worked for me. I don't know why.
Does that tell us that the closer they get to the Techno Union, the better the tech actually gets? Like, does Wat Tambor actually keep the best tech sort of assassins around him as a last line?
I don't know if I understand the question, John. I'm sorry. I was distracted by my mind meld with Eric from Phoenix.
It seemed like Wat Tambor sort of had a more effective line of defense around him. Like he had some better tech around him as far as droid defense forces than we've seen out in the field in the past.
It did,
especially including those flying ones.
Yeah, it did seem.
War of the Worlds things, they called them walkers.
Yeah, it did seem that he was pretty well fortified. I mean, he's cheated death a number of times himself, and so I would say that he is probably one of the shining stars, and can probably a secret in some ways, because this is now the second time that he was believed to have been dead. Because keep in mind, unlike the first time we meet Trench in the Clone Wars, we're not back and forth in the timeline. The timeline is straightforward. So everything that we're seeing in season 7 is after everything we've already seen in the Clone Wars. Which, if Kevin, you remember those earlier days when you never knew quite. Well, was this before or this episode or after that episode? Those first few seasons.
Yeah, it was confusing. That first episode with Trench. I believe the way we figured it out is because they made allusions to the fact that there was no Ahsoka in the story, that he didn't have a Padawan, and so it was just like, well, I don't understand what happened to Ahsoka.
Yeah. What we learned later was that the Trench stuff all happened before the Clone Wars movie, canonically, and
at least some Trench some Trench stuff, because there's other episodes with Trench, like the episode with Fives. Which I think is season 6, just the last season. That takes place.
Does he come? Wait, hold on a second. Does he come back twice in the Clone Wars? So this is his third appearance, and the first time that we see him, Yularen is talking about how he thought he was dead back then. So this guy keeps.
I'll take your word for that one.
Yeah. So when we first meet Trench, Yularen, this is in Cat and Mouse. And Yularen is really freaked out. It's almost like the way Rex is freaked out, thinking that somehow Echo must have survived because he's anticipating his moves. Yularen worked with Trench years and years and years before the Clone Wars, and he's seeing some similarities of some of the strategy that's going on. So, so this is like his fourth resurrection. So this guy's got almost 9 lives for a spider. That's pretty good.
He ain't coming back now.
Yeah. Now, Michael, hold on. I'm going to pop this up on the screen because it's interesting. I've not heard this. Michael 100880 says this was a clone of Trench. Has that been confirmed? I'm not aware of that.
I would doubt that. It seemed pretty convincing how he met his fate.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we're at the point to just reveal sort of how Anakin got him.
Is that going to be? Maybe Michael was being funny because of the Palpatine stuff. So everyone's going to be a clone now at this point.
Trench has cybernetic parts.
Yes.
Because of injury, a clone wouldn't need that.
Right. Right.
If you recloned Luke Skywalker, he would have a full hand,
a real hand.
He would have a real hand. He would have both hands, i.e., like the clone Luke Skywalker in the Thrawn trilogy. The real sequel trilogy. He comes back and the clone Luke has 2 hands.
All right. Let's get another caller here. This is, I believe, from Florida. We've got Matthew. Hello, Matthew.
Hey guys, how y'all doing? It's good to see you.
Hey, good to be seen.
I was really excited about this arc. I'm almost a little disappointed because I think it kind of serves as a launching point for a lot of these characters to go on and do other things. I hope that sometime in the future, Filoni's able to do some kind of other animated series. That way he can continue with them, because there's a lot of interesting stuff here, including, I think, about artificial intelligence, which they've dealt with a little bit before with the plates that are in the clones' heads, but here you see Mace appealing to the droids, which I thought was fascinating. I was not expecting them to really listen to that, but it would be interesting for them to explore the idea of battle droids abandoning the separatist army and then going on to do other things. I mean, there isn't time to do that now because they're ending Clone Wars series, but I thought that was really fascinating. And then, of course, you have Echo, who's now sort of, he's got like, android.
I am Echo of Borg. That's what I kept thinking the whole time.
Yeah, I definitely thought of that, but I was also getting, like, I'm into Japanese manga very heavily, and I was also thinking about some of the Ghost in the Shell type stuff, which is also very interesting, where he was interfacing with the systems and shorting out the droids and that kind of thing. I thought it was really fascinating.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was great. Thanks, Matthew. Appreciate that. The whole idea of being able to plug into a human being and extract, information or I guess you could say in a way it's artificial intelligence, but it's not. It's actually real flesh and blood human intelligence that has been modified or extracted artificially. But that's an interesting concept moving forward, I think, in Star Wars. Now, they do make it pretty clear, Trench makes it clear that this was very experimental. I think he even says, he or Wat Tambor say, bring back my experiment, bring back, it's just like a lab rat, to those guys. By the way, I love that the Wat Tambor and the guild, they're neutral, right? They're neutral, and they have no culpability in this at all, though I'm hoping by the time we start to see some ramifications from this, that the their veil of neutrality is given up and people see right through it, because this is a big problem that the Republic faces, that they got these various guilds that have they're supplying both sides. Basically, they're with Palpatine, they're working both sides, both angles. Kevin, you look like you wanted to say something.
They're going to be the conduit for 66.
Was he referring to the fact that Techno Union was neutral?
Yeah, I mean, it's
okay.
on record.
I could see Skako Minor
on paper,
the planet.
Yeah, no,
because he clearly says in Attack of the Clones, he says that the Techno Union will join your alliance. He clearly says,
but it was a secret meeting, politically, in terms of the PR. They are neutral. They are neutral, and they're more than happy to continue to supply, both sides ostensibly.
Okay.
Let's go back.
Well, Anakin takes care of him later.
Oh, in a big way. And I don't have such weaknesses, says Anakin.
So that was a great line. Yeah, yes. Shades of what's to come, the little teasers that Darth Vader's inside him, and he's going to fall to the dark side. Those times where he snapped, and there are some great quotes, and you just mentioned one right there. I'm not going to dig through my notes, but I thought those little bit of reveals are what, just sprinkle a little cinnamon sugar on top of each episode.
Absolutely, and I love that they throw in some classic dialogue in these episodes. I like
still showing off. I see, General.
Say that again.
Still, Echo says, still showing off. I see, General.
Yes, you hear about handiwork, which homage to Han Solo's handiwork. Also, thanks for coming after me. That Echo says to Rex. So.
I didn't catch that one.
Directly. Yeah. He says thanks.
I remember it now. I remember him saying it, but I didn't make the comparison.
All right, let's. I think this is Brian and Blake, father-son duo, joining us for the first time from Missouri. Hello. Hey,
hello?
Brian, is this Blake? Hello, Blake. Hello, Brian.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, hey, Blake. You want to talk about Clone Wars?
Sure. Is it okay, if I talk about action figures I want to come out for it?
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, if you have information about action figures coming out for these episodes, let us know. So are you an action figure collector, Blake?
Yes, I am, and I'm a big Star Wars watcher. I've watched every single one over and over again, except for the Clone Wars. I've only watched every episode once.
Okay. All right. You think you might go back and watch them a second or third or fourth time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so out of all the characters that you meet in these Bad Batch episodes, what's the one that you most want to be turned into an action figure?
All the Bad Batch, the team.
You want all of them. You want all 4.
Yeah, and if I could get the Echo.
Yeah.
With him with like removable armor, so he could like be like how they found him. Like he could have armor on, but then you could take his armor off.
That would be cool. So you could have him all decked out in his armor, or you could have him the way he was found when he was plugged into the machine and stuff, right?
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So Blake, who's your favorite character in all of Clone Wars? Well, you know what? Let's just open wide. Who's your favorite Star Wars character today?
Darth Vader.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, our man Kevin Liell.
Good answer.
Yes. All right. Hey, Blake, thank you. And you know what? We'll send your question right off to the folks at Hasbro about when we're going to see Bad Batch action figures, okay?
Okay.
All right, buddy. Nice talking to you. Thanks for calling.
Parents.
Yes.
You got really cool parents, buddy.
You do have awesome parents. They're raising you right. All right. Take care, bud. All right, let's see who else we got. By the way, if you're listening, 708-866-1737. That's 708-866-1737 to call and join the conversation as we continue talking about the Bad Batch arc here, Rebel Force Radio, Clone Wars Declassified with Kevin Liell and Josh Liss. Kevin, you know, let's talk about this a little bit. You're a Star Wars licensee, and the Bad Batch, depending on how popular they get, could you see them taking off as a licensing opportunity?
Or a spin-off series?
I would say it would depend on their reception, but I really think that for them to make a toy, it costs a lot of money to get a toy out there.
Mm-hmm.
And
remember when Star Wars had toys?
They definitely won't make it to the Black Series. That I don't see that happening.
Oh, I think they'll make it to the Black Series before they'll make it to 3 3/4. That seems to be where the focus is.
But I don't think they'll make it to either one of them. They might do some sort of standalone thing. I could see them more being like on a T-shirt or something like that,
yeah,
or part of some larger game. I think they're a great number of characters, but in the end, they were only in 4 episodes.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, Josh, you mentioned a spin-off. We saw in Clone Wars with the younglings that was a sort of a test for a potential spin-off. It does make you wonder if this is successful, even if it wasn't considered at the time these characters were conceived. Is it possible that maybe the Clone Wars wouldn't come back, but maybe the Bad Batch, they're kind of like the A-Team or something. These are, I guess you wouldn't call them mercenaries, but they certainly look like they've already had some adventures and I have more adventures yet to tell.
Yeah, there's a point where they ask Hunter what they do, who they report to, and I think he says he doesn't even know.
Yes, very mysterious.
Mm-hmm. So that could be explained, and of course, you've got the comedy hijinks of the big tough guy being afraid of heights. Yeah. You got Crosshair being the Clint Eastwood style. These are familiar characters doing sort of familiar things. These are themes that you talk about on your show a lot. Helping the natives rise up against the Empire is a big sort of theme that was used in this story arc, wasn't it? But what I want of come Christmas time, I want Tech's Google Translate goggles. I want those.
Right, yeah, like
on that planet. I thought that was pretty darn cool.
Isn't that Crosshair has those? Is that what it is? Yeah.
Was it Crosshair or Tech? One of them had the
Tech.
Google
No, it was Tech. That's right. Yeah,
Tech with the Google goggles.
Yeah. I mean, there was an aspect, and so that this isn't just all mutual admiration here. that, this is kind of business as usual in a way for Clone Wars. There were moments where I felt it was a little paint by numbers, the primitive species pulled into the war. We've seen it in Clone Wars multiple times and even in Rebels multiple times. But it's a recurring theme. And I think Dave Filoni has been up front for a long time talking about he wanted to, the whole point of the Clone Wars was to show the impact on the whole galaxy far, far away at large. It was, because obviously we spend so much time with the core characters. What's it like to be on a planet out there like Skeko Minor, for example?
And it really fills in as much of the mythology, I think, as any individual movie does. I mean, this whole, and it's only a 3-year sort of section of the full mythology itself, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Something, Kevin, as an artist, I don't know if you picked up on this, but the flying Karadak, those flying lizards, they kind of reminded, what's that?
Yeah.
They kind of reminded me of the Sun when he turned into that gargoyle. I mean, it was a very similar design, I thought. Did that ring any bells?
It also was very similar to the ones you see on Onderon with God, I'm dropping his name, Saw Gerrera and his sister. Remember that?
Yes.
They had those little winged animals.
Yep.
And as the wings go right into the hands of the creatures. And it kind of reminded me of that, but they were different. They had a similarity, but different still.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's go back to the
hijinks of how do we get on them?
Yeah, right. Yeah, the old-fashioned way. Just jump. All right, let's see. Who else we got here? How about this looks like Milwaukee calling. Hello, Milwaukee. Is this Ronald in Milwaukee?
Well, this is his son, Nate.
Oh, hey, Nate.
My phone number.
Oh, all right. Well, welcome to Rebel Force Radio.
Caller, thank you. I've been listening for a couple months now.
Thank you.
So my question is this taking place after or like during the events of Episode 3? Or if not, are we going to see it cross over? Obviously, we might see Order 66 take place, but I want to know if there are going to be any scenes specifically from the movie that we'll see in animated form.
Well, your guess is as good as mine as to how far through Episode 3 we'll see. We know the events in Bad Batch are not from Episode 3. We haven't hit Episode 3 yet because we've not had the battle of Coruscant. When we hit Battle of Coruscant and Palpatine being kidnapped by Grievous, then we know that we've hit the events of Episode 3. At some point, Anakin and Obi-Wan will get sent back to Coruscant to intervene in that kidnapping attempt. The reason we know that we'll see sort of the other side of the camera, as we call it, of Episode 3 in this final season is that we've already seen a clip of the Jedi Council standing around one of the one of those battle map projections, and I'm trying to remember the lines. We actually played it on the show some time ago. I think it's the moment.
I fear
a trap to destroy the Jedi. A plot
to destroy the Jedi. Yeah,
I fear a plot to destroy the Jedi. So that line, we see what's happening on the other side of the camera.
Right. Do you think that we'll see any other scenes from out of the side of the camera, as you say, other than just that scene? You want to see any other scenes from Episode 3?
Oh, I really want to. I want to see. I'd love to see more Yoda on Kashyyyk. I think that would be interesting to see. And I would love to see a little bit more. I don't think we will, but I would love to see, maybe even a little bit more of Anakin kind of in crisis in terms of thinking through the decisions, the temptations. I'd like to see maybe the Jedi Council talking about what's going on with Anakin and his being appointed to the council by Palpatine. All those things I think would be really, really, really fun to see. How about you?
I'd love to see why Plo Koon is on he's on Cato Neimoidia. That's where he gets killed. He gets killed in the capital of the leadership of the Trade Federation. I'd like to see why he's there. I don't think we will, but being the fact that he is Dave Filoni's favorite character, it's possible.
Yeah, Right. Where is Plo Koon? Dave has got to be able to squeeze a little Plo Koon appearance in here somewhere in this final season. What about you, Nathan? What would you most like to see as far as episode 3 moments?
I don't think we'll ever get this. Me and my brother always talk about wanting to see the animated version of the Mustafar fight, at least parts of it. Maybe between the scenes where it cuts back and forth, see some different points of view of that fight would be really cool between Anakin and Obi-Wan. Again, I doubt we'll see it because it's a big task
Well, I wonder if there's going to be a bit of a sort of a poetic ending of this series. If they're going to, if they're going to end it with some montage, if they're going to sort of give us some, if they're going to wrap it up and maybe animate some of that. I mean, I remember at the end of the Gendy series, we saw a little bit of that.
Let's not end it with the Jedis laying flat on the ground everywhere.
So not a downer, says Josh.
There's got to be something more. Something beyond.
That's a downer?
New Hope. Lyle.
Maybe end it with Ahsoka.
Something with Ahsoka, yes. Yes, something with Ahsoka that could perhaps allude to her picking up the mantle of her character in Rebels, the Fulcrum.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Nathan, thanks so much. Appreciate the call. Please keep listening. Once again, 708-866-1737. That's the number to call as we continue our analysis of the first 4 episodes of Season 7 of The Clone Wars. Something else I wanted to bring up, the whole 4th episode is really about casting doubt on Echo, his mental faculties, his loyalties. Did you guys question it at all? Were you sort of on the side of Tech at any point, wondering, I don't know where this is going?
Well, the title, Unfinished Business, Episode 4, the words underneath it are trust placed in another is trust earned. And earlier, Padme, encouraged Anakin to trust Rex. I feel like the audience has been encouraged to trust Echo this whole time, and that even though the Bad Batch has been the second guessers, the clones have overcome that each time. So that seems to be how it fell in place for me.
Now, our old buddy Shazbaz. Go ahead, Kevin.
No, I was going to say I felt that Echo could be trusted, and that it would have been bad, or really unfortunate for him not to make it as a good guy, and so I was pulling for him.
Yeah, our old buddy Shazbazar says that he'd like to see Rex and Ahsoka together post Order 66.
Rex 66.
Yeah, it would be nice to find. Yeah, it would be nice to see how Rex escapes Order 66,
like a season 8 maybe.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something? There's no indication. Right. Whoever thought there'd be an episode 7 other than Paul Bateman? He always kept the faith. It's arguable where that got him, but he's always kept the faith.
Yeah, nonetheless. His opinion of the sequel trilogy is about the same as mine.
Yeah. Well, hey, speaking of the sequel trilogy, I did think, I have to say, I got to give a shout out to Disney Lucasfilm. I thought Breaking Street Date digitally releasing The Rise of Skywalker a few days early, given everything that's going on in the world right now, knowing that people are hunkered down. I thought that was a cool move. I sure enjoyed it. I watched, we'll be talking about it in depth on Rebel Force Radio, but I watched that Skywalker saga documentary over 2 hours.
I did too.
It really was awesome. I just enjoyed it. So if you haven't had a chance, or if you're listening and you didn't know,
up with the digital.
What's that?
Does your guy? You did the show with the commentary track. Will it match up with the digital? Do you know?
Well, we didn't have the most official copy of the film, so frame rates might be different. But yeah, it's probably close enough. But the bonus features that are available on this are great. I'd love to have seen a director's commentary. Maybe someday we will. It's very clear in watching the behind the scenes that, and I know we're here to talk about Clone Wars, but it's very clear.
They coexist nicely. Based on your question earlier, I think they coexist nicely. I don't desire one more than the other or resent one more than the other that they're this close. I don't feel that.
Yeah.
The documentary that came along with it was good, and I was surprised with how much footage from behind the scenes of the original trilogy that there was that I had never seen. Mm-hmm. I was surprised to see that.
There is quite a bit. There is quite a bit. And
there were interviews with Carrie Fisher from The Empire Strikes Back that I had never seen.
How amazing is she, and cute, and just that interview where she's talking about Leia and how she, as an actress, admires the character of Leia. She goes, I wish I could just, walk into a room and take charge and tell people where to go. And, we think of Carrie Fisher as, the older, more mature Carrie Fisher who did have, over time develop a lot of that spunk. But you see that dichotomy between kind of the, I don't want to diagnose anybody, but I mean the insecure, which is obviously tragic that she felt that because she had so much to offer. And I think the fans over the years really made sure that she knew she was loved. But you see that slightly insecure actress talking about what for lack of a better expression, role model this character was for her, and she really looked up to her. So anyway, all right. So check that out if you haven't. Let's take it. We got a few more calls. Time for just a few. I think this is our pal Rich Brendel. Is this Rich? Hello.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, it is Rich Brendel.
Hey,
all right.
Rich.
Good to hear from you, man.
It is.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah. So one thing I loved about this one was the how they with the characters in it. Me, I'm studying counseling, and it's like almost every single one of those kind of represented different versions of somebody who that has a high form of autism, but in a strong way. Because people with autism, they have the high functioning. They focus on one thing, and they're really strong on it. And we saw that in so many, in each one of the characters, it was like that.
So they had this. They had this. You're saying they have this specialty that sort of borderlines, folks that are on the spectrum that have this sort of savant-like talent for certain things.
Exactly.
Aptitude. Yeah.
Exactly. Even with Echo, you saw him when he started out, he was kind of repeating everything, and everything like that. That's how he got his name.
Right.
But they used his strengths. And so it's they took the strengths of his crew, they learned from his crew about how everybody should use their strengths, and then they went in and took this other, because the Echo's crew was a bad batch too, kind of. They were a little, they were kind of labeled as a little bit of an anomaly.
Well, Domino's, you're talking about when they were with Domino Squad, and they, kept failing their tests. And then, they eventually overcame it all by learning to work together as a team and using those special skills that they had, those unique skills, and what made them unique.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Exactly.
The Poltecs, the people of Skeko Minor, did they remind you of anyone? Were you getting Avatar vibes from these guys a little bit?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Except they weren't blue.
Yeah,
but they were kind of lame.
Yeah, they were not quite as lame as the Lurmen. Remember the Lurmen? They were like lemurs. They just kind of what are we going to call these guys? Well, let's just kind of play jumble with the word lemur. Lurmen.
They reminded me a little bit of the Snapple people from Mandalore. Those Mandalore episodes. The pikes.
All the pikes, right? The ancient Egyptians a bit. Yeah.
To them.
What's that, Josh?
A little bit of a Kaminoan.
Yeah, with the little heads and all of that.
Wow, we're a bunch of racists here. Jesus.
Speciest.
Well,
Get it right.
I don't know if any of us are smart enough to know if desirable mutations in clones match up to any sort of, what was he saying, obsessive compulsive, or what was the sort of trait in actual humans he was trying to? I don't know if I'm qualified.
Well, that they were that right. The people that I think the idea. I don't want to speak for Rich, but I think the idea is that when you have characters and people that exhibit such a strong
also,
aptitude in something, almost an obsessive aptitude in something, you see that with people in our own world, with a form of savantism, being on the spectrum, things like that.
Baby geniuses.
Yeah, right. So, Rich, have they missed a beat for you? What was it like, strapping in and getting back into the Clone Wars? As I said earlier in the show, I had a hard time initially. I was very excited for it, but I had a hard time sort of adapting to the focused nature of this, given how big the themes have been in the sequel trilogy that we've been talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I've been loving it. It feels like old Clone Wars. Definitely, we know stuff has happened between this stuff and the last time we saw the characters, because, we saw, Obi-Wan. He knows about Padme. He made that very clear.
Yes. Say hello to Padme. He was very annoyed through that whole thing. He was annoyed with Rex, and then he was annoyed with Anakin. Yeah. This is highly irregular.
The comedy there.
Yeah. No, it was good stuff, but there was also that look that Anakin shoots him afterwards is, don't push it, Kenobi. Don't go there, buddy. Yeah. Don't blow this for me, man.
I don't know how Anakin didn't pick up on her baby bump, though.
I guess there would be baby bump at this point, right?
On her hologram?
Well,
she's in the outfit.
In the hologram of her, it looked like she had one. You didn't notice at all.
It's been a while for me, but this would be certainly baby bump time. I want my baby bump.
Well, does this episode take place 3 months before?
I don't think we know. I have to be honest. I know that there's some supplemental material on the StarWars.com website. I haven't really digested all of that. I find,
but isn't it so bittersweet to see Anakin so helpful this close, whether it's days or weeks or just months away from his turn?
Yeah,
still waving that blue lightsaber.
Still waving the blue lightsaber, though. Certainly,
it could be just a matter of hours.
It could be, but he's growing impatient. He didn't waste any time with Trench. I don't think he was going to let him go, but I thought we would later see Trench, wearing 3 pairs of handcuffs, I guess it would take, or 4 pair of handcuffs, whatever it be, binders as they marched him off. But he gets what he needs, and he gives him, it's almost like he kind of gave him a half chance. Trench tried to get the upper hand. He's like, I'm done with this. Psh, right through the chest. He's kind of like flailing. In fact, when he said, his parting words, when he said, hold on, I wrote it down. It's a great line. It reminds me when he said, he says, where is it? My notes are out of order. He says, Admiral, it was a pleasure. And it reminded me a lot when Vader, same character, says, apology accepted, Captain Nita. So
when he invites Han and Leia to dinner at the table in Cloud City, he uses similar sort of sarcastic mannerism.
Yeah, sort of a faux formality. Oh, we would be honored if you would join us. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. I like that they're sprinkling some of that in. I'd like to actually see a little more of that from Anakin. Hey, Rich, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Hey, stay safe out there, okay?
Hey, no problem.
All right, man.
Talk to you guys later.
All right, talk to you soon. All right, we got a couple more calls, and we're gonna pack it in. Let's go with Michael. Michael from Illinois. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Jason.
Do you have Jimmy Mack in your trunk?
Were you arrested with him last night? I'm going to get in trouble.
I will not say.
What's on your mind?
Well, first of all, thanks for having this episode. It's a good escape from the real world.
Hey, you know what? It's a great escape for us on this side of the microphones too, man.
So I watched the first episode a few weeks ago when it aired, and then at work the next day, I'm kind of like the Star Wars guy at work, and a friend of mine came up to me. He's like, "So did you watch the Clone Wars?" And I says, "Yeah," and I think I might have scared him a little because I didn't sound like I was real happy with it. And he, what didn't you like it? I said, well, yeah, I liked it. I says, I just felt the characters, the Bad Batch, was slightly over the top cliche.
It's a Saturday morning serial. Every bit of it's cliche.
Well, okay.
All right. Well, okay. So
I can't do the mythology, so I don't mean to cut you off and be rude. I want to hear what you have to say.
Oh, no problem. No, that was my initial reaction, and I told him, I said, look, I'm gonna wait and wait till all 4 episodes are released, and then I'm gonna watch them all 4 together. And I really felt I watched it yesterday, and I felt it was better to watch it that way instead of watching.
I agree.
Single episodes.
I 100% agree.
Better about the characters. I felt a lot better about the characters after I watched it all 4 together. So I really enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong.
No, first of all, you're allowed to not enjoy it, but I agree with you. I did the same thing, and it wasn't really. It wasn't like I set out to do it that way. I knew we were doing these episodes, as a batch themselves. We were batching these up in their 4 parts, but.
Oh, we're the Bad Batch now.
Yeah, is this the Bad Batch of Clone Wars? No, but I too agree. I think that that was always an issue that I had with the show when it was originally on. Was I felt that there were, especially when they knew that they had 3 or 4 episodes to tell a story, that there was some draggy stuff. But then again, I'm not a huge battle guy. I can't just sit there and love every second and chew every bit of scenery with explosions and all of that.
Sort of like the Clone Wars movie itself, the full length one. I thought that was a little too blasty.
Yeah, yes. But then again, as you pointed out, Josh, it's made for that Saturday morning cartoon, Saturday morning serial flavor. But point being, now Kevin, I don't know, you're looking a little contrary to what we're talking about. Do you think these episodes hold up better when you see them kind of in a batch, or do you like ingesting them one at a time?
I think it's, in that case, it's a good batch. I think I like to watch them all together. I watched them one by one when they came out because I'm impatient and I can't wait to get more Star Wars. But I did watch, and I was telling you before we went live today, that I watched all 4 episodes this morning, and it is better to watch them all 4 together.
I agree.
Yep. All right. Hey, thank you so much for the call. We're going to take one more, and this is a guy. Oh, this guy, he's a ringer. This guy's a ringer. I think, is this Chris Amram?
What's up, buddy?
Chris Amram, he's the guy that does a lot of the, in fact, most of the artwork for us on rebelforceradio.com, our album art. He's a tech guy for us from time to time. Good dude. How are things in Minnesota?
Hey, it's a nice balmy 33 degrees today, so I'm sitting outside having the sky, watching you guys on my big screen through my screen door. Jason, nice to talk to you. Josh, thanks for coming to the show. Mr. Liell. How are you?
How you doing?
So what'd you think about Bad Batch, man?
Hey, dude, I was really happy when I started watching this. I had to text Jimmy, like, dude, I thought this was all going to be stuff we saw in the animatronics. But they brought some new stuff to this. I really like it. Agreed. You got to watch this all at once. But that being said, I have a question for Mr. Liell directly on this. When the prequel trilogy came out, I was not a big prequel fan. Yeah, I consumed it because I'm a glutton for Star Wars too. But what happens if we support this right now? Is it possible Disney could look at this part of animation and say, you know what? Let's take it into the sequel trilogy, fill in those story gaps, and create something. Could that bring you back in more than where you are right now?
Oh, this is a great question. Now, Chris's, I'm gonna paraphrase because Chris's microphone is a little muffly. So what he was asking is, in the same way that the Clone Wars animated series brought some people around who didn't love the prequels because it filled in the gaps, for a guy like Kevin Liell who's not in love with the sequel trilogy, could a animated series or two fill in enough gaps to the sequel trilogy that might make you come around?
No.
I'm glad you put a lot of thought into it.
If Kathleen Kennedy let me direct and design and whatever a series, I wouldn't be happy.
I see.
I'm totally against what they did to Luke Skywalker.
It's the premise.
I like Rey. I like Finn.
All right. Hold on now.
I liked everything about it. It's just what they did to Luke Skywalker was inexcusable.
I think what Chris brings up, though, I think...
I got to agree with that with Luke. I'm sorry. It broke my heart.
Yeah, yes, but I just want to throw this out. I really struggled with the Anakin Skywalker of the prequel trilogy. I really did, because growing up, I always heard about what great friends Obi-Wan and Anakin were, and on screen, outside of just maybe a scene or two, they're always getting up each other's nose. And so I wanted to see that friendship. And I wanted to see Anakin the hero, the best star pilot in the galaxy, a great friend. That's what I wanted, a cunning warrior. I wanted to see that, and the Clone Wars gave that to me. I'm not going to go so far as Kevin. I think that an animated series, or even better, a live-action series, that filled in the gap with what was going on with Luke Skywalker just prior to his exile, I think that could bring a lot of people around, and I think that putting the right people in charge, a Dave Filoni, a Jon Favreau, I think there's enough there that could make you say, I get it now.
I know exactly what happened. I know exactly what happened that brought Luke to that island. I know exactly what happened. Bad writing and ego. That's what brought Luke to that fucking island. Oh
my God! Wait! Oh, hold on a second.
How about
Wait a minute! I got to write this down. Hold on, 1 minute. 1 hour, 17 minutes.
That's how long
20 seconds. Lyle dropping the F-bomb. All right. Jimmy's going to love that. Yep. Okay. Sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
No, hey, but how about if we even go as far back as to that with the training of Luke and Leia? We got just, 30 seconds? 40 seconds of that in the movie?
Oh, now
I want that. Every time I see that, just...
Now let's talk about something between Star Wars and Empire, or something between Empire and Jedi. Animated would be that's where I really want to see. Now it's interesting to watch Marvel. They're looking at that between Empire and Jedi era, right? Is that what? No, are they? Where they just switched gears? Somebody help me out. I thought that I know with they sort of rebranded and restarted the main title there. Anybody know? I think it's between Empire and Jedi. Yeah, I guess nobody. How sad is that? We got 4 big Star Wars fans talking right now, and not one of us knows enough about the. I'm not saying I don't feel bad. I feel bad that the comics aren't more special than they are, but that's just me. Anyway, hey Chris, thanks for calling. Appreciate it very much. Thanks for your killer artwork.
Don't forget, remind Jimmy he owes me the $1,500 for bail. That wasn't cheap, and I had to wire that too, so there's a little extra money he's got to send my way. So you boys have a good day.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Oh, I think that's...
We're getting late in the show. We should not forget that Echo ended up joining Clone Force 99 at the end of episode 4.
That's true. Well, yes, he did. He found...
With Rex's endorsement.
Yep. I think Rex saw the writing on the wall, and that it's likely that Echo would never really feel the same again, and so to be able to fall into a group.
Swiss Army knife on his arm is a desirable mutation now, apparently.
Yes, absolutely. So
cool to see Rex get the victory salute from all the Clone Force 99 guys. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, Yes, exactly. I thought it was a very happy ending, all things considered.
And I always look for that in movies when people salute, because sometimes, about half the time, people salute in film and television, they do it wrong. Those guys did it all right.
They did it right.
Just saying.
All right.
Just saying.
So that's, yeah. Anyway, also, I thought it was great.
How could they have messed it up? What would have been the wrong way to do it?
Sometimes people will, when you salute without wearing a hat, your index finger goes up to your eyebrow. And sometimes it's up or below, or the hand is too much like this. Or sometimes they're wearing a hat, and people will salute to the eyebrow, which is not right, because you salute to the hat brim. And it's just it's the position of the thumb and all that. They did it right. They did it right to American military standards. Other militaries have different rules, and who cares?
No, I care. I care.
I'm kidding.